Good day, everyone. My name is Bea Cayone, and I'm here to present my case study entitled An Introduction to Greek Mythology through the Percy Jackson Saga. So here's my case study overview. So the theme I've chosen is art and pop culture. So first, we will discuss the author profile, next, the saga, the socio-historical context, and last, the analysis. So first, the author profile. So Rick Riordan is our agent. He's a #1 New York Times best-selling author of novels for young readers, namely the Percy Jackson series, the Kane Chronicles, and the Magnus Chase series. His books have sold millions of copies worldwide, and they've been translated into over 42 languages. So according to Publishers Weekly, Riordan is the storyteller of the gods. So prior to writing the series, he was a writer and an English and history middle school teacher in the US. So why did he write the books? He wrote it for his son. Haley Riordan was struggling to cope with school as he was diagnosed with dyslexia and ADHD. At 9 years old, he refused to read. Nevertheless, he had a keen interest for Greek mythology. The titular character, Percy Jackson, was dreamed up by Riordan for his son Haley's bedtime story. So he ran out of myths to retell, and he remembered a task he used to set his sixth graders when he told them to create a demigod hero and give them a quest. So it took him 3 nights to tell the story, and after he was finished, his son Haley urged him to turn it into a book. Let's go to the second, the saga. According to Joanna Paul, it is the creativity of Riordan's approach and the sense of identification that it fosters that makes these myths meaningful for children. So here's a brief synopsis. Percy Jackson is a demigod. He's a troubled 12-year-old boy who discovers he is the son of Poseidon, one of the big three, which makes him a demigod. He's diagnosed with dyslexia and ADHD, just like Haley. Throughout the series, he embarks on a series of heroic quests with his best friends, Annabeth, a daughter of Athena, and Grover, a satyr to save the world. So let us go to number 3, socio-historical context. What is the relevance of Greek mythology in the 21st century? Everywhere you turn, there is likely to be a reference to Greek mythology. In the brand of the sports shoes you are wearing, Nike, named after the goddess Nike herself, the goddess of victory, the name given to your breakfast meal, cereal, named after Ceres, the goddess of grain, and the way a building has been constructed. So the popular design is the Parthenon found in Athens. So it is known for its beautiful pillars, which is an inspiration to many architects today, or the poem we're studying in class. So we've probably heard about the Odyssey, which talks about the long and arduous journey of Odysseus. Greek mythology is prevalent in pop culture. So we see this in Hercules, a 1997 Disney animated film. So even though it was released in 1997, it remains one of the most popular children's movies on Greek mythology. And for a more recent one, Wonder Woman, which was released in 2017 by DC Films, starring Gal Gadot. She's an Amazon woman, which in Greek mythology was a race of women who were known for their riding skills, pride, and courage. Second, Greek mythology is also famous in children's literature. As you can see, those are all the books written by Rick Riordan. But we will focus on the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series. So Greek mythology has an issue of complexity and antiquity. The original Greek classics can be intimidating to read. Names such as Homer, Hesiod, or Ovid seem antiquated and intimidating, especially to children who have a limited attention span. So this is why Riordan is a genius. His work seamlessly blends Greek mythology with modern-day characters and settings. But when delivered in a convincing manner, Greek mythology can be really fun to read. So I've come up with 4 reasons why Greek mythology is great for kids. First, it is a magical world packed with adventure and fantasy. Second, despite being heroes and gods, they were imperfect beings too. They were either rewarded or punished for their actions. Third, the stories impart valuable lessons that children can apply in real life. And fourth, it challenges them to step up the reading game. The Percy Jackson books are full of text and there aren't any pictures. Second, it provides literary context for future books. So a personal experience, I used to read Percy Jackson when I was a kid, and in college I took up this subject in 12, and we studied the Odyssey. So thanks to my knowledge on Greek gods and goddesses from Percy Jackson, I was able to understand the context of the story. According to Brightly, a website that provides passionate parents and educators with book recommendations for their kids, Percy Jackson and Olympian series is a recommended book for kids aged 9 to 12. So it's really popular, and this website can attest to that fact. So now let us ask the question, why is it so popular? According to Joanna Paul, Riordan's revised myths offer children something distinctive. Instead of transporting them to a distant, frequently alien classical past, antiquity is brought to them and made a part of their world. This anti-elitism is enshrined in Percy's characterization as more ordinary boy than hero, further encouraging readers to identify with him. So this anti-elitism, you've probably heard of Hercules. He's a perfect hero who is strong, good-looking, and popular, in contrast to Percy, who is an outcast in school, has ADHD and dyslexia. Readers can identify with Percy more because he isn't perfect, unlike Hercules, and I think that was really great of Riordan to characterize Percy this way. According to Joanna Paul, Rick Riordan is a mythographer both of the classical myths themselves and his own fictional heroes that he has grafted onto that world. So Riordan re-evaluates classical myths. In the usual Greek mythology, the Olympian gods were worshipped up there and the heroes were just down here. But in Percy Jackson, the demigods and the gods, they coexist in Riordan's fictional world, and they must strive to balance such coexistence. So it's a very unique take on Greek mythology. Moreover, Percy Jackson and the Olympian series is beneficial to readers and educators alike. So kids can relate with Percy's apparent distaste for school, his struggling to cope with it, making new friends, and learning how to be responsible. Simultaneously, educators can use these books as special educational resource because the material is modern and kid-friendly as compared to the antiquated works. Last, the fourth part, analysis. Literature is a powerful art form. Reading opens up new worlds for readers to get lost in. Rick Riordan effectively uses his writing skills to create meaningful stories that remain unforgettable to his readers today. He is a genius. He successfully repackages antiquated myths and weaves them into his own fictional world. His characters aren't perfect, yet it doesn't stop them from managing incredible feats. Thus, they serve as an inspiration for every child. His books convey an important message to every reader, child or young adult alike. Do not allow your weaknesses to hinder you from achieving great things. Thank you very much. That was my report on an introduction to Greek mythology to the Percy Jackson saga.